So now let's talk about reasons why I think you should consider having a dog on the road. The number one reason I think you should consider having a dog on the road is they make your life safer. Yes, they will be at some risk, but they make your life, I think, genuinely safer. Most of you are never going to go into the backcountry like I do. I love the backcountry, and that's where I want to be. And I don't mind walking 5 miles a day to be in the backcountry. And if you don't do that, you'll never have an issue with it like I've had with your safety from wild animals. You will be much safer. If I'm in my rig at night and Cody starts growling and looking at the wall, I know there's someone outside. If it keeps growling and if he maybe barks, there's someone out there or something out there. There's a bear, there's a coyote, there's a person. I am alerted before the problem starts that there may be a problem. And that's something, particularly you women who are concerned about two-legged predators. And the risk of two-legged predators on the road is just extremely, extremely small. But it is something to consider. I mean, it's not impossible. And so if you have a dog that barks when there's a person outside, you are far better off. You know there's someone out there. Whoever's out there knows there's a dog inside, and you now know he's outside. He's lost the element of surprise. For most bad guys, that's enough. You're going to be safer with the dog in your rig or on the road with you. Even if you run into a bear, as highly unlikely as that is. Most of the time, if you're going to confront a bear and there's two of you, there's you and your dog, you are going to be safer because you have a dog. Against two-legged and four-legged predators, you are better off with a dog than you are without. You're going to be safer. Next, let's talk about one of the most important things that dogs do for humans is simple companionship. You know, we're alone a lot in the woods, in our rigs, and just having someone there to talk to be with. To my mind, that companionship is so valuable, so important. Dogs are pack animals. They want to be in a community, in a group, in a pack. Humans are pack animals. Now, you might be offended by the phrasing of that, but it's a simple fact. Humans are pack animals, and we want and need to be in a group. Now, many of us are loner pack animals, and yes, you can be a loner pack animal. But even a loner wants to be in a pack, wants to have a companion. Most of our problems are we don't like the companionship of most other people. I mean, let's just be honest. There are a lot of us out here who just are not fond of the companionship of other people. We've had problems, and so we don't really want to be with the companionship of other people. We want to be with a tribe, we want to be with like-minded people, and that's why I've created a tribe, the RTR, and so on. There is a tribe of like-minded people that I do believe you will enjoy their companionship. But that's why a dog is such a special thing, because here is companionship that doesn't come with all the negatives of the companionship of people. And let's face it, people as companions can cause problems. And yet, my dog as a companion is not in the least bit problematic. Now, let's talk about one more thing along the lines of companionship. I think it's different enough, and that's health issues. There are huge benefits to having a dog in your life, and that's not just speculation. There's been a lot of science, hard scientific reports and studies done that show that having a dog in your life makes you healthier and live longer. A couple of things that particularly having dogs around will help with are your blood pressure. They've done simple studies with people who had dogs and didn't have dogs, and they added dogs into their life. And people with dogs, their blood pressure goes down. Another thing it will help with is depression. There have been reports that show that having a dog helps with depression, helps with autism, helps with social problems in general. Having a dog, this companion that cares for you and is not a problem, as opposed to humans who might care for you but are a problem, is so important and helps us in so many ways. Dogs make humans better. You will be a better human being healthier emotionally, physically, mentally if you have a dog. Next, I want to talk about the necessity of touch. There's also been a lot of studies done on the necessities of touch for human beings. And what made me think about this was an article I read a long time ago in some magazine or newspaper. I don't even remember where, it's been a long time. And this article said, you know, men have dogs and are devastated by the death of the dogs because they can touch the dog. You know, in our culture, we're discouraged from touching each other. In fact, men, it's almost a taboo in our culture for one man to touch another. And even the idea of hugging each other, which is becoming more and more culturally acceptable, and I'm trying to do it more. I always try and hug my son and good friends and people that I connect to. I always try to force myself to hug them. And that's what I'm talking about. I have to force myself to hug people. It still is uncomfortable for me. In fact, most of us, if truth be told, as our marriages go on, we stop touching our spouses. We don't touch. We're not allowed to touch. But I tell you what, if Cody were standing right here, I'd be touching him. The fact that I love to touch him and he loves to be touched by me offsets all the problems that there might be with having a dog. I need to touch, and that has been proven scientifically over and over and over and over again. Humans need contact and touch, and in our society we do not get it. So the fact that we can touch dogs makes them invaluable to our well-being. And one more thing, going back to this idea of companionship and how we don't do well with human companionship so often. Dogs do something that humans seem incapable of doing. Dogs forgive and forget. When I do something and I mess up with my dog, if I hurt him, if I'm mean to him, and occasionally I am mean to my dog, and I'm so ashamed to say that to you, but occasionally I am. I'm just mean to my dog. You know what? He doesn't throw it in my face next week, next month, next year. Every relationship I've ever been in with a female, everything I've ever done wrong has been thrown in my face many times through the years. There is no forgiving and forgetting. There may be forgiving, there's no forgetting. They forgive and forget. And if I was mean to him yesterday, it's gone today, and he's never coming back again. This really is a wild animal. You look at the teeth on your dog, and Cody's not a big dog. He's a wild animal, and yet he tames all of his wild animal instincts and loves me and endures me and forgives and forgets. Humans need to sacrifice and serve others. Humans need to suffer for other people, for other living beings, because dogs aren't people. We were born and evolved. We were created, I believe we were created. We were created, and we were created to serve and love and sacrifice for others, for the planet, not just for other people, but for the entire planet and everything on the planet, and dogs included, but especially dogs. And we evolved in packs, in tribes, in bands. And part of our evolutionary history is that we always served and sacrificed for each other. And we defied evolution in this way. Evolution says you always make sure you survive and your seed survives. That's all that counts. But in human evolution, that's not the way it almost ever worked. The pack survived, or none of us survived, and we rose above that primary evolutionary demand and lived for the tribe. If the tribe died, I'd die, so I have to make sure you live. And that's the way we evolved. And we have lived that way for a million years as humans and pre-humans, and as our Creator made us to be. And so we need to love and serve another creature. And it seems so difficult to love and serve other people. And I don't really understand why. I'll be honest with you, everything I'm doing on this channel, on my websites, on the forum, is to love and serve, because I'm happier when I love and serve. So ultimately, yes, I'm being selfish. When you get a dog and you love and you serve that dog, you're happier because you're fulfilling your purpose in existence. This is what you were created for. This is what you evolved to become: a server, a lover, a sacrificer for others. And if we refuse to do that and we live in selfishness, it's a guarantee unhappy life. I am given more in inner joy and contentment than I lose in inconvenience. And yeah, I've listed off a bunch of inconvenience, but what I gain internally inside me by service is infinitely greater than what I've lost. For that reason alone, I will always have a dog, because I need to serve and love and sacrifice for someone. Now we're going to talk about the last reason why I think you should get a dog. And it's also the exact same reason why many of you have decided you won't get a dog. They die. And it hurts so much when they die. I think it's so important that we mourn and suffer loss. And in our civilized world, we have done everything we can to separate death from us. I mean, we virtually never have any interaction with death. We've developed this tremendous fear of death. But dogs' greatest gift to us is their short life and their death. That we can hold them at their last moment of life, and we can watch the life drain out of their eyes. And as horrible as an experience as that is, it's an essential experience to being fully human. If you cheat yourself out of that experience, you cheat yourself out of being a full, evolved human being. And the greatest gift any dog gives you is his short life and dying. And allowing you the privilege of holding him and watching him die. And then digging a hole and putting him in the ground. So while it is a reason many of you will not get a dog, and again, it's a reason I fully understand, it is a reason you should. It's a sacrifice you need to make. He is making the sacrifice of living his short life and dying so you can have the experience of death and you can grow. We avoid pain, we avoid hardship to the very greatest degree we can, but the simple fact is, if there's no pain in your life, there'll be no growth. If you don't go through and endure mourning and deep, profound sadness, you'll never become a fully rounded human being. You'll never grow and mature and become what you should be. The final reason why I believe you should get a dog is because he will die and you will hurt. And we should experience that hurt in our lives. Okay, so that's it. I've gone through the list to the very best of my abilities, and honestly, I've listed off every reason why you should not have a dog, and then I've countered it with reasons why I think you should. I have no idea if you should have a dog or not. There are a lot of reasons why you would ultimately decide, weigh them in the balance and say, yes, I will have a dog, or say, weigh them in the balance and say, no, I just cannot and I should not. But I hope I've laid out the factors and laid out some of the issues and given you some food for thought. If I do nothing else on this channel but give you some food for thought and maybe some insights, that will be plenty good enough for me. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, like us on YouTube, subscribe to the channel, share us with your friends, tell everyone else, and remember to live your fullest and best life. Don't live a half a life. Don't live a life of drudgery and of barely getting by. Live a full, happy life. Live the life of your dreams. Live a life beyond your wildest dreams. Let your heart sing for joy. If every day isn't full of smiles and some joy, find out why and make some changes. Till next time, we'll see you later.